Good morning, guys. Hey, have you guys done these exercises that I have given? File handling. Do you guys have any doubts in these things? Hello. Yeah. Have you guys done these exercises? Do you have any doubts? Okay, cool. So whenever you have time, try to complete this because if you have any doubts, then we can discuss, right? So yeah, try to do this. Sandhya, what about you? Have you done these exercises? Do you have any doubts? Okay. So, but please try to complete these things. Okay. If you have any doubts, we can discuss anytime. Fine. Okay. So we are with SQL. We have covered about the create command, right? How to create database, how to create a table, okay, along with multiple column names and types of constraints as well. Okay, we have done all those things. Now let's move ahead. We'll see how we can use other kinds of commands as well, right? So let me show you. Let me log into MySQL. I hope you guys installed MySQL. So I'll just repeat all the commands that we have learned yesterday. One is show databases, right, which shows all the databases. And to use any database, we use command, use sample database, right? So database has been changed. To check tables, we use show tables. Okay, we only have one table. And to describe table, we use disk table, disk employee. Okay, so it will give you all the column names and its data types as well. Fine. And to create any database or any table, we use create command. Okay, now next one is delete command. Okay, delete command is basically drop command. Drop command is basically used to delete the objects. Okay, objects here means basically the tables, views or procedures or even the database, right? So to delete those kind of things, we use drop command. Okay, so let me delete this particular table and I'll just create the table again. Okay, so it's just drop whatever you are dropping, table or database or anything, right? Drop that particular object and object name. So drop table name, right? So now the table has been deleted. If you want to see that, you can check. If you type this show tables command, it is giving you empty set, right? Because we don't have any. Yeah, so using drop command, you can drop any table or any database, right? So whenever you drop any table, so you can see after that whenever you type this show tables command, earlier we had this table, but once we dropped that, it's not there. Fine. So you can similarly drop the whole database, right, using the same command drop. We are currently in sample database, so you can drop sample database, right? Sorry, we have to give the object name first. We are dropping something, but we should also mention what we are dropping, right? So this is a database. You will have to mention drop database name, right? Now the database is also gone. So if you want to check, you can check using show databases, right? So you can see that sample database is gone now. So drop command is basically used to drop any object in the database or even in the database itself, right? You can delete the whole database or any of the objects of the database, not data. Okay, I'm just saying objects of the database. Okay, it can be a table, it can be a function. Okay, there are a lot of other things as well that are present, triggers, procedures, views. Okay, which we don't need to cover all these things because those are like some advanced concepts of database. Okay, now so just to reiterate, we can create a database using create command. Okay, create database, you can give any database name, sample database, right? Now if you check with the previous command show databases, you can see that sample database has been created, right? It was not there. Using create command we just created this sample database. Okay, you cannot directly use that because we are currently outside of any database connection, right? We are currently in the MySQL connection. So to go inside that particular database, you need to use command. Okay, so it can be either capital or either small. It doesn't matter because MySQL will not take this case sensitivity, so you can simply use this commands as well. Okay, now this particular command use sample database will change the database, right? So now we are currently in sample database. Okay, to check tables we use show tables command. Since we haven't have any tables, so it's showing empty. We'll use the similar structure whatever we have defined yesterday. Okay, to create the table we'll create the same table again. Okay, so I'm just copy pasting this same command. Okay, now if you can see, show tables will give me the table, right? Employee. So this is just giving me the table name. To see the details of that particular table, like all the columns present, what are the data types, we use disk command. Disk is shortcut of describe, right? So disk command, disk employee, you can see all the columns that are present. Okay, column names and that column data types. Okay, even with the constraints. Okay, whatever we have added, right? So this is more like a column name, data type, and any constraint that we have added, right? We discussed all these things yesterday, right? Column name, data type, varchar, and for always remember, for every time whenever you are giving varchar, you should also give the maximum limit of the varchar. Okay, since this is like variable character, you should give maximum length so that it will only create that much space. Okay, so this is mandatory for varchar things. Okay, you can also give that for the integer values to restrict number of values, I mean number of digits, but it's fine if you are not even giving in the integer values, right? So these are varchars, and we also have booleans, right? Bool is representing booleans, and these are constraints like primary key. We are making id as primary key, and we are taking employee id as unique, and we are also taking this department employee id as not null values, which represent that we should not keep null values in these things. Okay, so till now we just created a table and we saw the table, and we also saw how to drop the tables, right, using drop command. Okay, sometimes we might have to like alter the tables. Alter is basically change the structure of the tables, right? So let's say my employee table is like this. I have done all these things. Here if you can see, I have given employee sal, right? So rather than that, I might have to use employee salary, right? Employee salary, the full form of that. Okay, so in those kinds of scenarios we use alter command. Okay, so it's basically alter, which whatever you are altering, right? Alter table, table name, and what you want to do, you want to rename one column. Okay, so basically rename is a command. Okay, we have a rename command is used to rename any object. Okay, so rename, we need to rename any column, right? So rename column employee sal to employee salary, right? So it's more like a plain English, right? So you are altering using alter command, altering what you are altering, any table you are altering. So alter table, and you have to give the table name, okay? And then you are renaming one column, so rename column name to whatever the new name that you are giving, okay? So it's done. So whenever you describe the table again, you can see this employee salary has been renamed to employee salary, right? So you can similarly change this data types as well, whatever you want to do, right? You can do all these things, okay? So here we were using rename. Rather than that, you can use alter again, okay? Alter column employee salary, and we can give data types, right? So if I give varchar, it will convert to varchar, okay? Now if you want to add any column, you can use add column, whatever the column name, let's say employee DOB, right? Date of birth. It can be date column, right? So date is also a data type in this particular SQL, so you can simply give date as well, fine. So alter table name, add column, we are adding a column called employee DOB, and the data type is date, okay? So done. So when you check that, you can see that employee DOB has been added, okay? Similarly, you can drop any columns, okay? So you can drop any columns, and then you don't have to give the data type, right? You are just deleting that particular column. So you can use drop as well, right? Now if you can see, it's gone. So basically alter is used to manipulate, right? Change the structure of the tables, okay? So inside that alter table name, you can use all these again, all the whatever the commands that we have done, you can reuse those commands, okay? But for creation, rather than using create, we are just using add command to add any columns, okay? So either you can add the column, you can drop the column, or you can rename, right? Or you can simply use alter command again to change any constraints or data types, okay? Or making it null values or not null values. You can simply use alter command as well. It's fine. Any doubts in this? So this is create, to create all these things, drop to drop the things, alter to change the things, and rename is to just rename the things, okay? Now so this is all what we have done. There is one more thing called truncate. It will just delete all the records from a table, okay? So including all the spacing that is allocated to that particular table and all, right? So truncate is nothing but a command which deletes all the data, okay? Currently we don't have the data, so I'll show you this command once we add the data, fine. So till now we just till now it was all about the structure, right? How to create columns, how to delete columns, tables, all these things, right? It's just about the structure of the table and the columns. Now let's talk about the data, right? How to add the data, how to delete the data, how to update the data, right? All these things will be there, right? So currently our data is empty, we don't have anything, we haven't added anything in the table, okay? Now we'll just create some data and we'll see how to check the data, okay? So here we have 4 different commands. Insert is to insert the data into the table, update to update already existing data, and delete to delete the records from the database, okay? And we also have select to read the data, okay? So some people say that select is also a DML, okay? Data manipulation language. Some people call it as DQL, data query language, right? So DML is data manipulation language, DDL is data definition language, okay? We won't be discussing about DCL. This is like advanced concepts of controls and all these things, right? Privileges, users and all, okay? So all these structured definitions comes under DDL, okay? because we are just defining and manipulating the structure of the things, okay, objects. It may be a table, it may be a database, all these things, right? Now it comes to data manipulation language. We are just changing the data inside the tables, right? So I'll tell you about select command. Okay, select is basically used to read the data. Okay, so select, and star represents everything, as we already saw this in Python also. Star represents everything, right? Even in the imports we saw, whenever we do this particular star, we are importing everything, right? So the similar meaning here, star represents all the columns, okay, all the data from employee. Okay, so this is the command structure. Select whatever the data you required. It may be a star. Star represents all the columns. If you want only one or two columns, you can just write down those columns as well from whatever the table that you have. Okay, so since I don't have any data, it is giving me empty set. Okay, we can also do ID, like specific columns, right? So this is retrieving everything, and you can also do for specific columns. Okay, ID, employee ID, like this. Okay, this is also works. Okay, this is how select command works to read the data. Now since we don't have any data, we'll just insert some data, right? We need to insert some data. Okay, simple insert command into, we are inserting into some table, right? Employee. Okay, so it's better to give table also, insert into table name, it would be better, but this is also fine. Okay, anyways we will be inserting data into tables itself, right? So this is also fine. Okay, insert into table name. What you are inserting some values, right? So values, and all the values has to be inside the brackets. Okay, so if you directly use this, you will have to give all the column values. Okay, whatever the columns that you have, you'll have to mention those values. Okay, so ID, which you don't need because we kept it as auto increment, right? But if I'm using this syntax, I'll have to provide the ID as well. Okay, so it's better to mention what are all the fields that we are updating, whatever all the fields that we are inserting the values into, right? So before values, what you will do, you will just write one more parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, mention the column names to which you want to provide the data. Okay, let's say employee ID you want to provide, because that is not null value, right? So this is mandatory fields. Okay, employee name. Okay, employee email. I don't want to mention salary because that is a null value. I mean, if you want you can mention, if you don't want you don't have to mention, right? So let me take employee salary as well, salary, and employee department. Okay, I'm not taking is active. Let me show you how that works as well. Okay, so first we'll just give some employee ID as 0101. Okay, so it has to be a string, right? Varchars always has to be inside the strings. Okay, and next we have employee name, let's say Mark. Okay, now we have employee email. I'm just entering some random emails. Now we have salary. Salary has to be integer, so you can just write down any integer value, and department. Okay, let's say tech. Okay, so whatever the columns that I am giving here, the same values representing those columns I have to mention inside the values. Okay, why we are doing this? Because we don't want to give ID, because we kept our ID as auto increment values, right? Because it will automatically increment starting from 1. Okay, and we are not giving is active. Remember how that goes into the table. Okay, now we have done this. When you press enter, you can see that one row got affected. It created one particular row. So using this particular command, you can see the data, right? So select star from employee, right? Select star from table name. If you do this, you can see ID automatically be taken. I haven't give the ID, but since we used auto increment, it automatically taken as 1. Okay, then we have employee ID, whatever we have given, employee name, employee email, employee salary, employee department, and is active is null. Okay, because we haven't gave the values, right? We haven't gave the values of is active. Okay, so this is how you insert the data into the table, okay, using SQL. Okay, so insert into table name, what are all the columns that you want to insert, and values, all the values that you have to insert. Fine. So this is one way. There is another way where you can just give the values like this, and after values you can just keep comma and enter another set of values, comma another set of values. Like with the same command you can give the values, like multiple values at the same time, right? Let me add couple other values. Okay, I am also giving is active for this, true or false. Okay, let me change employee IDs. Okay, I'll show you, before that I'll show you one thing. Okay, so it is true, let's say is active is true, it's boolean, right? So you can directly give true or false values. Now if you can see, I already have an employee ID with O101. Okay, and again I am trying to insert the same value O101 to the table. Okay, since our table, this employee ID is unique in our table, right? We kept unique constraint for this employee ID. So whenever we try to insert the same duplicate value again into the system, it will throw you this error. Okay, duplicate entry O101 for key employee ID. So it will not allow you to enter the duplicate values. Okay, that is why we give constraints. Okay, so we want our employee IDs to be unique, right? Always, no two employees can have the same ID. So that's why this particular employee ID I kept it as unique. Okay, you can see that where we created the table, right? So for employee ID I have given varchar with unique constraint. Okay, constraints are nothing but restrictions that we are giving to the tables, right? So we are restricting for that particular column to have only unique values, right? So this will be given. Okay, so you will have to change those values. Okay, you can keep these things because these are not unique. If you want, you can change anything, like it's fine. If you want to change, you can keep them true or like this. Okay, now let me just add up couple of other records. Okay, so this would be ID 3 mark. Let's say this is PM team. Okay, I can enter a couple of values like this. Okay, just comma separated, you can enter multiple values. Okay, like this. You can keep this as false for some employees, like this. Okay, so I have entered 3 more values. I am inserting 3 more values into the same table. You can see 3 rows got affected. We have updated 3 records. Okay, now if you want to check all the details, you can see select star from table name. You have all the details entered into the system. Okay, now sometimes you might forget to give some details, right? So is active is there. For first record we have kept it as null. Okay, and for others it was true and false. Okay, so to update these kind of values we use update command. So insert was just to insert the data, right? Insert, we were just using it to add the data into the table. Now whatever the data that we have added, we might have to update this, right? Some records we might have to update. Okay, let's say is active was not set in the while we are inserting the data, so we have to set this is active. And we can also set we can also change this particular name to mark1 maybe, right? So we'll do that, how to use update command. Okay, so similar to insert, update. Okay, give table name, we are updating this particular table, and we are setting some values. Okay, set is active equal to, it can be true or false, let me take it true. Okay, but if I do this, it will set this particular is active to true for all the records, because we are not saying that we have to only update certain records, right? So if I just do this, update employee, we are updating the employee table, and we are setting is active equal to true. So which means it will set all the values in is active to true. Okay, it will also change this particular value, but we don't want that, right? We only want wherever it is null, we want to set those values to true. So here comes one more command called where. Okay, so where is more like our conditional based logic. Okay, in Python just think it as if block. Okay, so we will only work this logic on conditional statements, right? Like if true, then only we will do some things, right? Similarly here, where is active is null. Okay, whenever this is active is null, then only we are setting is active equal to true. Okay, either you can use this particular command, or you can also use whatever other field names as well. Okay, let's say my employee ID equal to O101, right? So this is also fine. If you want to use this is also fine. Okay, so employee ID is O101. So for this particular row, I am keeping is active equal to true, right? So this and that both are same. Okay, you can see that it has been set to true. Okay, now similar commands we can keep. Okay, let's say true where is active is false. Okay, we are just changing all the false to true. Okay, so that is also works, right? So we have just changed it to true. Sorry. And we can also change employee names, right? Similar commands. Okay, so we are setting employee name equal to, let's say, mark1. Okay, mark1, where, so here we are only setting for this particular row. You cannot use is active because is active has all the values same for all the rows. Okay, so you'll have to take unique value, maybe it may be ID. Okay, you can take ID or some other thing as well. Okay, so it's better to take employee ID because that was the unique value. So employee ID equal to O102, right? So you can update that value as well. Now if you can see, we are having mark1, it got changed, right? So this is how you update the records. Fine. So either we can use if else conditional statements, using if else conditional statements, either you can update a single row or you can update all the rows at a time. Okay, if you just remove this particular statement, okay, it will update this particular employee name and it will set to mark1 to all the employees. Okay, so you have to be careful whenever you are updating things. Fine. So that is one thing. Now you can use this particular where statement even in reading the data. Okay, so till now what we were doing, we were just getting all the data, right? Employee. So this means it will just print out all the data, but if you have like thousands of records, lakhs of records, you don't want to see all the data, right? You only want to see some data. Okay, based on your requirement. So you can also use this particular where statement in this, where like employee ID equal to O101, like this. Okay, now you can see only one record is showing up. The data is present in the database, but you are only reading this particular employee ID data, okay, which is O101. We are only reading that particular data. So you can use this where statement in all the commands, okay. Now sometimes what happens, you don't want to see all these column names as well, okay. Let's say you want to see only employee name and employee email, right? So for those kinds of scenarios, as we saw earlier, rather than giving star, you can just give column names, okay. What are all the columns that you require, okay. So employee name, comma, employee email. Let's say if you want salary as well, you can also give employee salary, okay. So it will only print out those particular columns and values. Fine. If you can remove this where, then it will show you only these columns for all the data, right? So you can play around with these things, right? So this where command, how to read the data, what are all the columns that you want to read the data, you can play around all these things, okay. So this is to select the data, which is nothing but reading the data, okay. So we saw how to insert the data, right, and how to update the existing data, okay. Using where command, you can update any one particular record. If you just remove this, it will get updated to all the records, right. So this is how it updates and inserts the data into the database, okay. Now we have one more command called delete, okay. So deleting the data, so similar to update, okay. Delete from employee, okay. If I just do this, it will just delete all the data, okay. Similar to update, how it works, okay. If I am not giving that particular where statement, it will work for all the records. So basically this particular command will delete all the data, okay. But if you want to delete only one or two records, then we will use where statements, right? So let's say where employee ID equal to O101, okay. Now we have just deleted one record. If you can see this, you can see that 101 employee got deleted, okay. So if you are not giving this where statement, it will delete all the records, right? So this delete command basically just deletes the data, okay. It will not remove the spacing, okay. Let's say you have created 1000 records and then you deleted that 1000 records, okay. Per suppose those 1000 records occupied 10 MB of space, okay. Whenever you delete those records, those 10 MB will always stay there, okay. It will not get deleted, fine. So even though you deleted all the data, the space that they reserved, right, it will be still there, okay. It will not be removed using this delete command, okay. And basically delete command will only be used whenever you have some conditional statements, okay. We don't use delete command to delete all the data. So if you want to delete all the data, then we have one more command called truncate, okay. Just what we saw, okay. Truncate is used to remove all the records from table, including all spaces allocated for those records, okay. So basically delete will not delete any memory space, but truncate will remove all the memory space as well from the table. And truncate cannot be used along with conditional statements, right? So truncate is just removing all the data, okay. You cannot specify conditionals where you can delete only few records, fine. So it's the command goes like this: truncate and just table name, okay. That's it. So if you check data, you have nothing, all the data has been gone, right? So basically truncate is used to remove all the data along with the memory space as well, okay. But delete is being used to delete some particular records. You can still use delete to delete all the records, but the memory spacing will not gone, right? So let me just insert these records again, okay. So now we have data. So you can see since I used truncate, whenever I am inserting again, the ID starts with 1. Okay, but if I use delete command, okay, delete from employee, I am deleting employee, right? So all the records are gone, nothing is there. Now if I try to insert the values again, you can see the ID started from 4, not from 1, because delete command is not removing the space. Okay, before this 4 the spacing is still there, the memory space that is reserved for those 3 records is still there, so that's why the ID starts from 4. Okay, but since truncate removes everything, okay, truncates delete the spacing as well, memory space as well, it will just restart everything. It starts from 1 itself. Okay, there is no space, right, which the table itself was empty, so it will start from 1. So these are the differences between delete and truncate. Okay, got about all the commands? Any doubts till now for all these commands? Anyone? No, so drop is used to delete the objects. Okay, so it can be used, drop can only be used for tables, okay, or database, okay, or maybe some views. Okay, we won't be using this views and procedures now, but a drop is basically used for objects. Okay, objects of the database, it can be a database or table. Okay, but delete is used to delete the data, not the objects. Okay, so delete can only be used for deleting the data. Okay, number of rows, if you can just think about that. Okay, you can only delete the data inside that, but drop is different thing, right? Drop can completely remove the whole table from itself. Okay, table itself will not exist if you use drop. Got it? So that's why these are different commands. Okay, so these are data definition language. Okay, basically it DDL always deals with objects. Okay, it can be tables or databases, right? So these things are just for the structuring of the database and the tables. Okay, except for truncate is used to remove the records. Okay, basically you can say truncate is also working on an object. It is just making sure, it's just resetting the whole object. Okay, even though you have added more data, it will just reset the whole table to starting point of its origin, right? It will just delete everything, right? So all these things are comes under the structuring of the database, but DML and DQL are more like data perspective. Okay, not on the objects perspective. Okay, this does not deals with any structure. Okay, all these 4 commands deals with only data, right? Any other questions, guys? If you don't understand anything, please let me know, because if you don't understand the backend structure of what's happening in the SQL, okay, what's happening in the database, you can't understand Django. Okay, how Django creates the data, how it deletes the data, okay, how it updates the data. You can't understand that. You'll have to be more familiar with all these things, how backend of the database works, right? So I hope it's clear for you guys till now, whatever we have defined. Yeah, okay, cool then. So yeah, till now we have dealt with only one table, right? Everything we are doing only for one table. Okay, employee table. Now see, in the starting of this SQL, I told you that all these databases are relational databases. Okay, which means you can create some type of relationship between 2 tables. Okay, so let's say I create one more table. I'll just create one more table. Create table, let's say employee details. Okay, maybe just to store this address or phone numbers, all these things. Okay, so let me create a employee table, create table employee table, and it will also have ID, right? For integer we'll just keep this as well, auto increment. Okay, auto increment. Then let's say we have employee phone number, it can be varchar some 20 characters. Okay, maybe employee address. Okay, varchar some 50 characters. Now see, there has to be a relationship between this employee table and employee details table, so that you can fetch each employee details, right? So if I'm not giving any relationship, you don't know whose phone number and whose address that you are adding, right? So there has to be the same some unique values that are created here to map into this particular table. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just create a mapping from this particular IDs in this particular table. Okay, so employee ID. Okay, I'm creating employee ID table which is integer. Okay, now this should not be null value, right? So I'll keep not null. Okay, after this what I'll do, I'll just do foreign key. Okay, since yesterday we was discussing, there are four major constraints. Okay, unique, not null, primary key and foreign key. Okay, so whatever the primary key column that we have here, okay, so in this employee table our primary key column was ID, right? This ID was my primary key column. So for that particular primary column, I should be using it as foreign key column. Okay, so I am adding my foreign key to this employee ID, which references the ID in employee table. Okay, I know this seems a bit confusing, but just remember the structure, how it goes. Okay, employee ID references, okay, employee table and column name. Okay, so basically you are creating a table called employee details, which has basically ID has to be there, and employee phone, employee address and employee ID itself, where employee ID references back to this particular ID column inside the employee table. Okay, so we are adding the foreign key to employee ID table, and we are just creating a relationship between these ID values and adding that to this employee ID. Okay, if you can do this. Okay, there is some syntax error, let me check. Let me just check the foreign key syntax. Okay, we'll have to keep this as well inside the brackets. References. What am I doing wrong? You have an error at the syntax near date line 1. ID int auto increment. Okay, we'll also have to create a primary key for this. Let me try that. Primary key ID. That is fine. Employee phone number, employee address, varchar, employee ID int, not null, primary key ID, foreign key employee ID. references employee of ID. There is something error that we are not able to find out. Oh. Let me take employee ID here. Let's see if that works. No. Okay, let me add the foreign key later, guys. Let's see why this syntax is not working. There is some syntax error itself, it seems. Create table, table name, values, ID, int, email, phone, varchar. Syntax was fine. Just hold on for 1 second, guys. Create table, table name, to increment employee ID. Okay, my bad. There is one more bracket here. Yeah, so we are creating table, table name, column names, and adding constraints as well. So basically you don't have to give the foreign key but primary key, but always for IDs try to give primary keys, okay, so that you can relate this particular ID into other tables as well. Okay, then we have foreign key with employee ID. We are referencing to previous employee tables ID. Okay, we'll keep this to ID itself because that was the primary key. Now you can see that the table has been created. How you can check that if the table has been created or not? Using show tables, right? So you can see that 2 tables has been created, and you can still describe using disk command. So disk employee details, you can see that I have created 4 tables. Okay, so ID, 4 columns: ID, employee phone, employee address, and employee ID. Okay, so employee ID, you can see that ID is primary key and employee ID is MUL. MUL here represents foreign key. Okay, so that's the way of like how this is properly creating, but this is MUL, okay, which represents foreign key. Now you can still insert the values into employee details as well, right? So insert into employee details. Okay, so what are all the columns that you will have to create? Employee phone, okay, employee address, and employee ID. Okay, you don't have to give the ID because ID is auto increment, right? And values, so let's say phone number, some random phone number, and address, let me just give some random address. Okay, now so this employee ID, which has to be a foreign key to the employee table, right? So this employee table, okay, so you will have to give the IDs of this table itself. Okay, if you are giving wrong IDs, then it will throw you errors. Okay, so if I take 4, fine, and if I try to create, this is getting created. Okay, but instead of 4, if I try to take 8, you can see that you cannot add or update a child. A foreign key constraint fails because this particular ID is not present in the employee table, right? So this particular ID 8 is not present in this table, right? So that's why this fails. Got it? So now you can see all the values that are present in employee details. Okay, so this is employee and this is employee details. Okay, so this is employee details. Now this particular employee ID, which is 4, represents this ID. Okay, so this is how you create a relationship between these 2 tables. Okay, so why we need to create a relationship between these two tables? It would be easier for us to fetch all these details if we have this ID for the employee. Okay, so some people say, let's say somebody asks you to fetch employee phone number for employee 0102. Okay, now if there is no relationship between these two things, you cannot find these values, right? So that's why we create a relationship between these two. And how we can fetch the relationship, how you can fetch the employee phone number using this employee ID. Let me show you that. Okay, so this is bit of complex query that we have written till now. Okay, so we have written like this, right? Employee if you want employee phone number, employee phone, okay, from employee details where employee ID equal to 4. This was a simple query that till now we have written. Okay, but currently you don't know what is your employee ID. Okay, you only know that this particular employee ID value is 0102. Okay, 0102. Using this you will have to find the employee phone number. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create one more query inside this. Okay, so employee ID equal to select ID from employee where employee ID equal to 0102. Okay, so here what exactly happening? So this particular statement inside this gives me the output of my ID, okay, which is 4, right? So select ID from employee table where employee ID is 0102. Okay, so which means it is giving me this ID, okay, which is 4, and I am passing that value into this particular statement where employee ID equal to 4 from this table, right? So rather than doing this, so you can still do this, but since you don't know this particular ID, you have to do like this. Okay, now if you enter, you can see the output is same, right? So because of relationship, we are able to fetch the values without knowing any details inside the employee details table. Okay, even though I don't know any of these details, I only know this employee ID, and I want to fetch the phone number from other table. Okay, using these kind of queries you can get the values, right? Guys, any questions in this? I know this is bit complex query, okay, but I hope you understood this. Do you have any doubts in this particular query, how we have written? Okay, this looks simple enough, right? So you have some details in employee table, and from that you are fetching this ID, and you are passing that ID into this table and fetching whatever the details you want. Okay, employee phone or employee address, anything, right? So remember this, because of relationship only we can do this. Okay, without any relationship you cannot do this. Okay, so always we have to create the relationship between two tables. Okay, if you are having these kinds of details, okay, maybe some customers or customer details like this. Okay, it can be anything. Okay, so whenever two tables have the common data for one entity, okay, entity here means like any employee or customer, okay, then you will have to create a relationship between these two tables so that you can access the values, okay, access the details of employee or any customer or like that. Okay, so this kind of relationships can be created in RDBMS only, okay, relational databases only. You cannot create any relationship between in NoSQLs. Okay, so we saw how NoSQL database also works, right? So NoSQL database only stores JSON formatted documents. Okay, so only these are the RDBMS databases. Okay, MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQLite, Oracle. Okay, there are a couple of other things as well. Okay, we have NoSQL which store data in JSON documents, okay, JSON structures. So for those kinds of documents, okay, for those kinds of structures, we won't have these kinds of relationships between created between tables, right? So yeah, you'll have to be more familiar with these two types of databases, okay, RDBMS and NoSQLs. Fine. So yeah, this is all about SQL, guys. Try to install MySQL in your system and try to just redo all these commands once, okay. You don't have to remember any of these things, because as a Python developer, nobody asks you to work on SQL, but you should know the backend of SQL, how it works, okay, how database works. Without this you can't work on Django, okay. You should know how SQL works, so that you can use same structures in Django also, okay. Any doubts in this particular class, whatever we have discussed till now? Okay, cool. Then I'll upload the screen recording. Please go through the SQLs, both yesterday's and today's class once again. Install MySQL, try to practice all these commands once, okay, so that it would be easier for you to work on Django, okay. So we'll start Django from tomorrow, okay. Django will take a lot of time. It will take almost 1 week to complete, okay. Along with the Django, once we complete Django, we will integrate Django REST framework in the same project, okay. We'll create a project and we'll integrate Django REST framework as well into the Django, and then we will work on one sample project, okay. Yeah, cool. Then you guys can drop off. I'll upload the screen recording.